Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're going to explore some firsthand accounts from soldiers who served in Afghanistan.
Okay.
They've shared stories online about events that they just couldn't explain.
Right.
We're going to stick to the facts. What they reported,
Right.
and let you draw your own conclusions.
That's right. We're diving into the raw data, the direct experiences of these soldiers without adding any interpretations or theories of our own.
Right. Okay, let's start with an account that'll leave you scratching your head.
Right.
Imagine a nighttime patrol tension, high eye. The soldiers guarding their base.
Yeah.
Suddenly they spot 3 individuals trying to breach the perimeter.
Oh, wow.
Shots are fired. 2 intruders escape, and 1 lies motionless.
High-stakes situation for sure. What makes this particular encounter so strange?
So the soldier who shared this story described something truly bizarre.
Okay.
He said that as they approached the fallen intruder, they saw white smoke coming from his mouth. As they got closer, the smoke got thicker, turned black, and then formed a sphere above the body.
A sphere of black smoke?
Yeah.
That's an unusual detail.
And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, poof, gone.
Wow.
The soldiers were left wondering what they just witnessed.
So we have an account of a visual phenomenon that the soldiers couldn't explain.
Exactly, and that's what we're focusing on here. The facts, as reported by those who experienced them firsthand.
Okay.
Let's move on to another location steeped in both history and mystery.
Okay.
A hilltop observation post in Helmand Province. During construction, they uncovered Russian military equipment
Wow.
and skeletal remains showing signs of execution.
So right off the bat, we're dealing with a location with a potentially traumatic past.
And it seems that past might be impacting the present. Both U.S. and British troops stationed there reported a string of unsettling occurrences.
Like what?
They consistently reported feeling watched, even when there was no enemy presence.
Wow.
They experienced strange interference with their radios. Some saw unexplained lights darting around the hilltop.
These details, while strange, could potentially be attributed to stress environmental factors, equipment malfunctions.
True, but there are other details that are harder to dismiss.
Okay.
Soldiers reported hearing footsteps when no one was there.
Oh, wow.
Disembodied breathing, and even the overwhelming stench of decay strong enough to make them physically ill.
Those details definitely add a layer of intrigue. Anything else?
What really sent chills down their spines was the sound of whispers,
Whispers.
some claiming they were in Russian.
Oh my goodness.
And this unsettling activity always seemed to peak between midnight and 4:00 a.m.
Russian whispers at a site where Russian soldiers were executed?
Yeah,
It's certainly a chilling coincidence.
it's definitely a detail that sticks with you.
Wow.
Now let's shift gears to an account that seems to defy the laws of physics.
Okay.
This one involves a Special Forces unit tasked with observing a remote village suspected of harboring Taliban leaders.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of technology were they using?
They were equipped with some seriously advanced surveillance equipment cameras with incredible zoom and clarity. They had a clear, unobstructed view of everything happening in the village 24/7.
So we can assume their observations were accurate and reliable. What did they see?
One day, a man dressed in white arrived at the village.
Okay.
The villagers, including the children, reacted with absolute terror, running into their homes and locking their doors as if he was something to be feared.
Interesting. That suggests this man was not a welcome visitor.
What happened next left the soldiers completely baffled.
Okay.
They watched as this man in white walked directly through the solid stone wall surrounding the village.
What?
Not around it, not over it, through it.
That's quite a claim.
Yeah.
Did they report any issues with their equipment?
They double-checked everything, thinking there must be a malfunction, but all their equipment was working perfectly. They all saw the same thing, the man walking through a solid wall.
That's unbelievable.
And it didn't stop there. He then walked up to a house and did the same thing, passing right through the closed door.
So we have multiple trained observers using high-tech equipment, all reporting the same impossible event.
It's a detail that challenges everything we think we know about the physical world.
It really does.
What happened after he entered the house?
Yeah.
He eventually reappeared, walked back through the wall, and left the village.
Okay.
Then a woman came out of the house, weeping and screaming. Villagers gathered, and they dragged a dead man out of the house.
It sounds like a tragedy unfolded within that house, but how does this connect to the man who walked through walls?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a question we don't have the answer to. We're simply presenting the facts as reported by the soldiers.
Fair enough. Let's move on to another interesting observation from that same encounter.
Okay.
What was unusual about the burial?
What struck the soldiers was the burial ritual itself. Instead of gently lowering the body and covering it with earth, the villagers hurled stones into the grave with incredible force, as if trying to punish the body.
That's a striking detail. It speaks to the intensity of their emotions, but also to the possibility of cultural practices that might be unfamiliar to us.
You're right. It's important to acknowledge that we might not fully understand the cultural context of everything we're discussing. But even with that in mind, some details like a man walking through walls are hard to explain away.
Agreed, there are certain events that seem to defy rational explanation, regardless of cultural background.
Okay, let's switch gears to our final story for this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
It's a more personal account focusing on a soldier's experience of loss and a potential encounter with something beyond our understanding.
Tell me more about this soldier's experience.
This soldier was involved in a harrowing ambush. He and his unit were pinned down fighting for their lives.
Oh, wow.
When the firefight finally ended and the dust settled, he realized his best friend was missing.
A truly terrifying experience.
As he frantically searched for his friend, he spotted him in the distance, standing on top of a rocky outcrop, waving to him.
Oh, no.
Relief washed over him. But as he got closer, his heart sank.
Oh.
It wasn't his friend at all. He found his friend's body within a nearby crevice. Hidden from view, he had been killed in the ambush.
A tragic case of mistaken identity, perhaps fueled by the chaos and stress of the situation.
That's what you'd think, right?
Yeah.
But here's where it gets strange.
Okay.
The soldier remembered a conversation he'd had with his friend before the ambush. His friend had said half-jokingly that if anything happened to him, he didn't want to be buried in the Afghan desert.
That's a common sentiment among soldiers.
And as the soldier stood there looking down at his friend's body, hidden within that crevice, he couldn't shake the feeling that his friend, maybe even his spirit, had somehow guided him to that spot.
It's certainly a compelling thought.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
Are there forces at play in the universe that we don't fully understand, forces that might even transcend death?
It's a question that has fascinated humanity for centuries.
We'll continue our exploration of these strange encounters in part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll delve into even more first-hand accounts that challenge our understanding of reality.
I can't wait.
So stay tuned.
All right.